Honorable Men Discord. A woman calls Phylicia Rashad a pick-me. Let's talk about it. I don't know what's going on with this world. Actually, I do know what's going on with this world. But I'm going to pretend like I don't know what's going on with this world. Where do I start? Where do I start? The absence of respect from the elders is definitely a thing. All right? The absence of respect for elders is definitely a thing. Now, by all means, I'm going to say a few things that some of the viewers, some of you watching may not agree with. But if you don't agree with it, by all means, as I always say, I'll see you in the comments. And here's the thing. I've been saying this for a long time. There's an arrogance from the younger generation. Not from everyone, but from a lot of the younger generation. All right. Obviously, when I say certain things, it's not true for all people, because there's no such thing as something that's true for all people. There's always going to be a class of people that embody something I say, and then there's going to be a class of people that don't embody that thing. But I'm speaking to the class of people that embody what I'm saying. There's a group of young individuals that have no respect for elders, and there's an arrogance of we know everything, we got it from here. Right? It's crazy. And listen, it's funny. When I was younger, I never thought I'd find myself as a grown man sounding like the grown men I used to look up to. What do I mean by that? I feel as though a lot of the things that I say, I sound like an older guy. But here's the thing, I am an older guy, right? So if it sounds dated, if it sounds like, oh, you don't know what he's talking about, he's an old head, he's unk, I am unk, okay? But my thing with this Phylicia Rashad interview that took place on The Breakfast Club, by the way, for those of you that don't know what I'm about to get into. Phylicia Rashad is a grown woman. She's practically a grandmother, right? By age. I don't know if she's literally a grandmother. I'm sure maybe she is. I didn't look into that because that's not relevant to what I'm here to speak about. But Phylicia Rashad, I just have to put this up to be correct. She's 76 years old, okay? That's all I needed to know. I'm not going to read the Wikipedia. She's 76 years old. She's most known for her role as Claire Huxtable on The Cosby Show, right? She gets on The Breakfast Club, and first and foremost, the so-called controversial thing she said, before she even said it, she was so respectful as she introduced what she was about to say. She was very respectful before she even got into it. She didn't just jump into it. She made it clear, listen, I'm not trying to offend. But some way, somehow, someone jumped out the woodwork on TikTok, and I'm going to get to her video, and calls her a pick-me. Now, I'll be honest with you. I've heard the term, but I didn't know what it was, so I wanted to make sure I was correct, especially when shooting videos. I had to look it up, right? So I said pick-me, right? It says pick-me is a slang term for a person, usually a young woman, seen as behaving in a contemptible way for attention and approval, usually for male peers. It is most often used in the expression pick-me girl, which disparages a young woman who is seen as faking interest in stereotypical male activities or conforming to traditional values at the expense of other women. It is also used in pick-me boy, referring to a young man who feigns emotional vulnerability to win the attention of women. Well, we're not here to talk about the boys. So, first and foremost, slang term, usually a young woman. Phylicia Rashad is 76 years old. I don't know what this woman on TikTok was talking about. How is Phylicia Rashad a pick-me? I guess what the young woman was trying to say is she's just saying what she's saying for attention. At 76 years old, No, I highly doubt that. But going back to what I was saying, there's an arrogance with a group of these individuals from the younger generation where they don't want to hear anything. And because I was raised, and I'm talking about myself now, because I was raised with an old school mentality, now that I'm adult, I bear the old school mentality. And I'm not Felicia Rashad's age. So you say, where am I going with this? Felicia Rashad at 76 represents an older generation. That generation of women and men are a generation I used to look up to and I would ask advice from, right? So I understand where she's coming from. Felicia Rashad is not a pick-me. Let me clarify that, even though I have that in the back of my thumbnail. Felicia Rashad is not a pick-me. At 76, she's not looking for attention. She's well accomplished. She's intelligent. She's been classy from the beginning of when I discovered her on The Cosby Show. She's always been classy, right? Now, let's go to the clip on The Breakfast Club, and I have some more things to say on this. Let's get to it.
And I don't mean to be critical, and I hope young ladies listening don't take this as personal criticism, because I don't mean it that way. Mm-hmm. But you're young queens. Beautiful and smart and brilliant and bright. And it really, I know I'm taken aback when I see on a college campus young women dressed in strips of clothing. Mm. And you'd correct me if I'm wrong, sir. Mm-hmm. No man wants his woman to be out like that.
Mm. No man. No man. All right. And I'm going to go, I'm going to concur that. I'm going to say no man wants that. And here's the thing. And again, I think I mentioned this on one of my episodes. If a female is out there talking about, well, that man is just insecure, I'm not even trying to hear that. They love using that line. No man that really cares about a woman wants the woman overly exposed in public. Point blank, period. I don't care how confident that man is. At some point in time, he's going to feel uncomfortable with his female wearing next to nothing in public. And that's just a fact. Now, show me a man who doesn't care if his woman is underdressed, and I'll show you a man who has more than one woman. Or I'll show you a man that's so preoccupied with chasing the money and other endeavors that's why he doesn't care if you're underdressed. He's too preoccupied with whatever else that has his attention, but it's not that woman. All right. So most of the time when there's certain women like, oh, my man is he's confident, he doesn't worry about things like that. How much time do you spend with your man that doesn't care that you're underdressed? I'm pretty sure that guy is almost never with you. That's why you get away with wearing next to nothing and he doesn't care. Because this whole thing is like, listen, I got more important things to deal with. Wear whatever you like. But for the man who actually works, chases his dreams, but also makes time for you, he does not want to see you underdressed. And for any guy that disagrees with what I'm saying, or any female that comes across this video, I will see you in the comments. Guys generally do not want their woman that they care about, that they want to build a family with, underdressed. Period. Let's continue.
Right?
No, I grew up on Method Man saying wearing 3/4 of cloth, never showing your stuff off.
And like you said, there are ways of being sexy without showing so much.
Oh, please. And that's really not sexy.
I mean, one of the most sexiest, most beautiful pictures is you. I forgot what year.
I'll tell you what's not sexy. What's not sexy is when a guy is with his woman and he has to feel like his friends or other men already have an idea of how his woman's body looks because all she wants to do is wear revealing clothing. We want that to be ours, And again, I'm only talking about guys who care about their woman. I'm not talking about the guys who have a Rolodex of women. This is not that conversation for those guys. We're talking about guys that really care about their one woman. We don't want to see them underdressed where other guys get to pretty much visualize them nude. We don't want that. All right? And that's just a fact. Any guy that say anything different is just lying. All right, let's continue.
But you got on like a basketball jersey and like some jeans. You eating some popcorn. That is.
All right, so I'm gonna finish it there because it's a short clip anyway. But here's the thing. There's nothing wrong with classy. There's some extremely classy, sexy outfits out there. But it just seems like there's a group of women that just want to go in the direction of just I want everyone to see every last inch of my body. There's no mystery. They just want it all out. So that's what Phylicia Rashad was talking about. First of all, she started off by calling the women queens. She started with acknowledging the women on a high level. There was a high level of respect when she started, right? But some way, somehow, we're going to get into this now. This is some woman on TikTok, and this is her reaction. It's going viral. This is her reaction to Phylicia Rashad.
Why is it that anytime older women try to give game to younger women, it always circles back to being about a man? No disrespect to Phylicia Rashad. I respect that lady. I think she's beautiful. She's talented. She's everything. But she is a pick-me also. I already peeped the game when she was riding for Bill Cosby. I don't feel like getting into all of that. But she was on the Breakfast Club and she was talking about the way that women dress today. Now, she's entitled to her opinion. That's totally fine. And I was okay with the message until she said, and most importantly, no man wants a woman that dresses whatever way they were talking about. Why is that the most important element when it comes to how a woman is dressing? And why don't people understand that not all women date men?
Hold on. I gotta bring that back. I'm sorry.
Why is it that anytime older women try to give game to young and don't care about what a man want to see her in? Don't people understand that not all women date men? There are some women that don't date men.
I have to pause that. Okay. First of all, Phylicia Rashad was on The Breakfast Club, and when she made that comment, obviously she's speaking to heterosexual women. You know, when people go on shows, and this is the problem with the world today, all right? The problem with the world today is because there's so many different groups that are trying to normalize what should be considered normal. Now you have women like her feeling the need to say, she's responded to Phylicia Rashad, but now she feels the need to say, well, not all women date men. All right, so should Phylicia Rashad be on The Breakfast Club and make a statement to address the gay community, the straight community, the transgender community? How many communities should Phylicia Rashad have to address on The Breakfast Club? How absurd does that sound? Clearly, if Phylicia Rashad mentioned women and their choice of clothing as it pertains to men, she was talking to heterosexuals. Is it safe to agree on that? Is it safe to agree on that? Because I don't know what this woman's talking about. Not all women date men. Phylicia Rashad clearly wasn't talking to those women. But let's continue. This is how absurd this world is now. All right, I think it's absurd. I stand on that, and I'm not changing my take on that. Let's continue.
A lot of women out here that have opted out of dating entirely and don't care about what a man want to see her in. Why does everything older women say always have to go back to a man? I don't understand that. They need to reprogram their.
All right, so here's where some women, this kills me. All right, and this doesn't go for just the younger generation. This goes for women in general. It kills me when certain women find all ways to just duck accountability. All right, it's so easy to just find something to go against what Phylicia Rashad, the point she was trying to make, which is basically elevate yourself. You don't have to be exposed. You can still be beautiful. You're a queen. Act like a queen. not in just, and I know she didn't go this far. I know Felicia Rashad didn't go this far in what she said, but basically what she was trying to say by calling the women calling women queens before she got into what she said is she wants women to elevate themselves, not just in attire and what you put on, the way you speak. There's women out there. Listen, for those of you that haven't picked up on this already, I record my episodes from New York. I'm a New York native. There's women out there calling other women bro. There's women out there calling their boyfriends bro. There's women out there using the N word for their female friends. There's women out there using the B word for their female friends. Elevate yourself. And this particular video is towards the women when I say this, but the same thing goes for men. Now, unless you want to stay ignorant, by all means stay ignorant, but stay in your circle somewhere to the side, because I don't even want to breathe the same air with ignorance. I'll be honest with you. Right? And all Felicia Rashad was doing in a respectful manner was trying to uplift women and saying, listen, you don't have to dress like that. You could still be appealing and classy and show off your beauty rather than just your body. And for some reason, by her saying that at 76 years old, it's offensive. You mean to tell me this woman over here couldn't have just received the message and say, okay, I hear you. I hear you. You know, and just respect the older statesmen? There's no respect for older people. Which is why the world's run amok the way it is, because these women end up having kids, and their kids are the YNs running the streets and running amok. The whole world is complete chaos, and it's women like her that are to blame. But I'm gonna let her continue.
Minds. They need to reprogram their minds. Like, it's 2025. We work too hard to have autonomy, to always have to be connected to what a man likes and what a man doesn't.
I almost lost my train of thought. So this is where the point I was trying to make, but I lost my train of thought. Here's where I feel that she's not taking accountability. So you mean to tell me, if there were no men on earth, would the women be dressing the way that they're dressing? Because she's trying to make it seem like they're not one and the same. Like, most of these women are wearing certain outfits for the attention of men. And there might be a small percentage of women that don't wear certain outfits for men. But let's be for real. If there were no men around, would women be wearing half of the outfits that they wear? I'd like to hear it in the comments. Let's not play this game like, oh, that you're not, you know, you're wearing it just, it's 2025. You're wearing stuff just because you want to wear it. It has nothing to do with the motivation of male attention. Like, let's stop it. Let's continue.
Y'all constantly keep saying, oh, men don't like when women dress like this. Men don't like when women wear their hair like this, wear lashes, wear makeup, this or whatever. And the woman is still doing those things that a man doesn't want. Wouldn't that tell you that we don't fucking care?
The language alone, listen, may Kevin Samuels rest in peace. She's going to die alone with a dog. God bless whoever finds this woman and dates her. Because women like that, disgusting. I don't find that attractive at all. Which is why a lot of men are just looking elsewhere. They're looking elsewhere. They're traveling and they're finding more feminine women. This is not it. Straight hair and all, you know, talking like the way she's talking with that type of energy is just completely disgusting. I wouldn't entertain it at all.
Coco and Ice-T. She dress however she wants to dress. She do whatever she want to do. And he's been married to her for how long?
Horrible example. Ice-T had a background. I don't want to say he was a pimp, but he grew up around pimps. So if she know, she's quoting Ice-T and Coco, which is crazy because I don't even think she's old enough to really know the history on Ice-T. Ice-T, when he came into the rap game, his whole persona and his image with his long hair and stuff like that, he was raised around pimps. So his relationship with Coco, although it's not that public, at least to my knowledge, it's not that public, he operates with his wife in a completely different way than most men and women operate together. All right. He's his own example. He's a separate case. You can't use that was a horrible example to use Ice-T and Coco as an example of how Coco dresses. All right. Ice-T was raised around pimps. Coco pretty much looks like a stripper, so it falls in line to what he was used to being around. But does Coco look like an everyday woman? She's not the example of an everyday woman. So why are you bringing up Coco? And now a black woman wants to use a white woman as an example. Let's stop it. This is what I'm talking about with no accountability and just reaching, the constant reaching just to avoid accountability. Let's continue.
There are plenty of men that don't be getting in women's business like that. They don't care about policing women and trying to control every woman's every move.
Men. That's the number one word. Certain women love using that word control. Just for kicks and giggles, I'd like women to start listing what's a man's authority in your life when he comes into your life. Because they throw that word controlling around as though men are just out to put a ball and chain on your ankle and say, stay right here until I get back home. And that's not the case. Women, y'all need to stop. Some of y'all need to stop. Y'all need to take accountability, and some of y'all need to stop. What exactly do you want? We want to. I want a list of what is a man's role in a woman's life when they're together. Right? What is the man's authority, I should say? What is the man's authority over you when you're with him? And I already know some of you are going to say, well, if it's not my husband, he has no authority. I already know the answers because I've heard these answers before. But I just need to know. I need to know. Because this woman sounds all over the place.
The ones who try to control everything y'all women do because y'all are insecure and y'all care about the public's perception of you. And like I said, I would be totally fine with the message if she kept it about the women and themselves. But to constantly always have to bring something back to a man, it's crazy. It's getting old.
Listen, if she didn't mention men, you'd feel some kind of way. Because you sound like the generation of women that just want to do what they want to do. Let's be honest. I would respect the female that gets on TikTok, gets on live and says, listen, at the end of the day, I just want to do what I want to do. I would respect the female that says, you know what, my words don't represent all women's thinking. I just want to do what I want to do. So I really didn't care to hear Felicia Rashad acting as though she had the ultimate wisdom. I like doing what I want to do. I'm going to wear what I want to wear. And the man that comes into my life is going to have to deal with it. I'd rather a woman speak like that. But the stuff she's saying, she's just dancing around accountability, and it's just disgusting. But listen, I want to end with this. I've been meaning to pull this up. This is T.K. Kirkland. Now, T.K. Kirkland's in his early 60s, but he has this saying that I love, and I use it from time to time. And his saying is, who raised you? But this is a clip from T.K. Kirkland at the Laugh Factory, and he's going to use his slogan, and I think it's fitting for this topic, for the generation that feel they know everything. All right, let's get into it.
See, most of y'all are kids, you haven't lived yet. You still out here living the American mother dream. But it's a real world out here in the mother world, you understand? And that's what's really important. That's why I'm on here, because I always try to give game. You know, I tell men when you go on a date and you go out to the club and you hold a conversation with a young lady, you buy that young lady a drink. That's for a time. These niggas on social media talk about let her be thirsty. I'm like, who raised you? When you walk down the street with a woman, you walk on the outside to show that you respect her. Like, let that get hit by a car.
I just have to say this. Some of your women just love these YNs, and I get it. They're the men of your generation. But I'd like to believe there's YBs, young brothers, that still respect the game that men like myself give, which is not game, it's just how to conduct yourself around women and how to treat women. And TK Kirkland, you know, he's calling it game, but you know, at the end of the day, he's talking about just his wisdom, right? I hope there's some young brothers that are out there that actually represent the generations before them better than this surge in YNs, this love for YNs. And for those of you that are out there that are YNs watching this video, I don't really have anything to say to you. You're going to exist regardless of what I say, and that's a fact. But this is to the women that may come across this video. If you're entertaining YNs, take a look in the mirror and ask yourself, how do you really feel about yourself? Why exactly are you entertaining a YN? Sometimes there's YNs that and I don't even use that term. For the sake of the video, I'm using it because it's a prevalent term in the community with the young generation. But again, to the women that are with YNs, why exactly are you subjecting yourself to that level of ignorance? Because it's a reflection on how you feel about yourself. You could act as though it's not one and the same, but if you're entertaining someone who acts like a YN or even self-professes to be a YN, you got to really start looking at yourself in the mirror and asking yourself, why do I think so low of myself? But let's continue with TK Kirkland.
When you go on a flight, on a plane, a woman always supposed to sit by the window. You're supposed to sit on the outside to show that she's protected. These I paid for a ticket too. What if I want to look out the window? I'm like, who?
Listen, I can promise you the things he's saying I live by, and it's not even because I watch this video. It's because, again, when I was younger, I used to sit down and I used to call it getting wisdom from the older men. I would ask them certain things. Now, granted, there's some older men that didn't conduct themselves in a respectable manner, an honorable manner. But, you know, you take a little bit from each older person and you come up with your own understanding and what makes sense for you. You use your wisdom and your ability to decipher wrong from right. You know, you just use your own intelligence. That's what I used to do, and friends like myself used to do when we were younger. So a lot of what he's saying, if not all of what he's saying, is the way I conduct myself. But it's out there for those who care to elevate themselves. But if you want to just stay ignorant, and this is for men and women alike, if you choose to stay ignorant, by all means, there's nothing anyone can do, nothing I can do, nothing Felicia Rashad can do, nothing that TK Kirkland can do. You're going to continue to exist, but just exist somewhere in a corner somewhere, because I don't want to breathe the same air as you. Back to TK Kirkland.
These has gotten the out of hand. Social media has see, most of y'all are kids. You haven't lived yet. You still out here.
All right, that was the end of it. But listen, as always, I appreciate everyone for tuning in. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next episode.